Okay, dear friends, it's 7 p.m. Our Dolls and Teddy's Bears Festival is going on, and here we are, Guzel Kostina and Sergey Kostina. Good evening. Today we have a unique speaker, a unique author. I've already told you we've chosen her doll as a symbol for our festival. See it? We just adore her works, and we always invite her to our conferences with a great pleasure. So, here comes Tatyana Simukova. Make you feel welcome. Tatyana, it's your time. Hello, dear friends. Glad to meet you here on our conference. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to Guzel and Sergey, the organizers of the meeting, for that unique and wonderful possibility to gather in front of the computers and to receive new knowledge, impressions and communications. I'll show you my recent works. This is a little fairy. She was born today in the morning. It is made from polymer clay. Here you are, wonderful magic wings. And another fairy, her friend. Here she is. She also has wings. I have a video tutorial about that doll. So, what I'm going to talk about? I think everyone who makes dolls in one way or other pays attention to such fabulous creatures like fairies, angels and elves. I'll tell you something about experts who got inspired by fairies. Each fairy has her own magical elf-like ears, and I'll show you a little workshop how easy you can make them. And I'll tell you about 3 main mistakes in ears modeling. Traditionally, in the end, I'll invite you to my new online video tutorial, Fairy of Flowers, the doll. And let me tell something about myself. As I told you already, I'm Tatyana Simukova. I'm an artist of design dolls. Also, I make tutorials about them. I started to make dolls in 2006. My dolls are in private collections in the United States, Israel, Germany, France, Italy, and, of course, in Russia. I give workshops in my city since 2010. Online tutorials since 2014. I take part in many international exhibitions, Moscow Fair for example. In 2010, my friend Lena Arvin and I had an exhibition of our own in Izhevsk. We presented a collection of our signature porcelain dolls in style of 20th century. My very first doll I created during tutorial by Natalia Chikorova, a wonderful artist and a teacher. First, it was a hobby to distract me from routine and stressful work. But Natalia personally provoked a real passion to design toy, so now it is in fact not only my work, but a joy. These are my works I made on design toy courses in Izhevsk. A doll, a dancing chick, it's in my father's collection. He keeps it very carefully. A doll, Happiness is Here, was sold on my first Moscow exhibition. Let me introduce some of my other crafts. These are my action figures, Blanche and Irene. Their hands and legs are moving. A head is fastened by ball joints. So it is comfortable to hold them in hands, see them on a table or on a shelf to play with them. The same technique I used to make Pierrot dolls from paper clay. I adore that image. Last year I made statue dolls in the same image. You can see these dolls on the exhibition. These are dolls from sculpture clay in 2013, the Clowness collection. A doll Alice was made last year. Maybe this is the first doll I couldn't let go. These dolls were made recently. A moving doll Anastasia and a doll Glasha, the Clowness. I made a video course about how to make it, and I was pleased to get photo after the tutorial. And as you've already noticed, that is a symbol of our festival, that very doll. It is a great pleasure and inspiration for me to get pictures of dolls after my students took courses online. I'd like to introduce you their works as well. This is a work by Alena Cymbalista and Galia Harlamova. Workshop Mobile Boudoir Doll. These tender beauties were also made on this course. A Doll Anfisa by Svetlana Shapovalova and Cecile by Irina Drozdenko. It is a pleasure when you can sell a doll. Svetlana told me that one woman bought it immediately. A Doll Elfie, the Forest Fairy by Alla Safonova. It is very tender and romantic. A Fabulous Cancan Dancer by Irina Popova. Girls pay attention to each stage of a walk. A haircut, for example. This is a doll Assault by Tatyana Pukhova. A Fabulous Doll by Tatyana Lyubimova. Tatyana studied books and albums about fashion, drew sketches before create clothes and shoes. Works by my students from workshop The Clowness. Dolls by Margarita Hronina and Nadezhda Smirnova. I hope you like it. And this is Elena Galafayeva's doll. She is a wonderful speaker. She will be tomorrow with us and I recommend you to listen to her tomorrow. She is a wonderful teddy bear maker and look, she created a wonderful do-it-my tutorial as well. Now I'd like to invite you in a world of fairies. Fairies were always an inspiration for artists and I'd like to introduce you some of them. I start with Cecily Mary Barker, amazing author, English illustrator, artist and poetess. She is famous by her book Flower Fairies and Flower Fairy Alphabet. Her art is called The Kingdom of Fairies. When she was 15, her father showed her pictures by Raphael Tuck, the editor. In 1911, they were printed and issued on cards, and that was her very first success. The first book, Flower Fairies of the Spring, was published in 1923. Queen Mary sent her friends cards with cheerful fairies after the end of the First World War. Cecily's elder sister opened in her cozy house a private kindergarten, and children from that kindergarten posed to Cecily with a great pleasure as fabulous creatures. Books of Cecily Mary Barker are unusual by its unique images of flowers and plants. They are called botanical encyclopedias. Cecily always drew her flowers from nature. Her pictures were always natural and full of life. Fabulous illustrations by Cecily Mary Barker are a great source of inspiration for puppet artists. For example, this fairy doll, Fairy Tsinia. She inspired John Wright to create a doll. In 1976, John Wright was fired from its position of clerk in a city shop. So he decided to try toys making. He sewed his very first doll from a piece of a yellow flannel. Now, this is what his doll looks like. They're amazing, aren't they? Fairy Clover and Rose. John Wright creates his dolls with his wife Susan. They have a team of 25 people and they create dolls in limited edition. Kristen Howard creates wonderful fairies as well. She made her own brand, Chrysalis. She issued collection dolls, cards, puppets, cross-stitch sets, dishes. Generally, they are fairy tale personages, fairies, angels. Porcelain works by Kristen Howard got the worldwide acknowledgements. There are lots of completists who collect her crafts only. The next is Diana Builenix de Baker, the Belgian-Dutch artist. She creates these cute baby fairies. Diana creates fabulous creatures, fairies and elves for many years. I think Tina Kammerbeek, a Dutch artist, creates the most interesting fairies. She's been making them for 40 years. Her images are easy to recognize. Their faces are so characteristic. The next author is Tatyana Simukova. She has an unusual and memorable style. She creates elves, fairies and dryads, spirits of forests. I have my Russian authors as well, who creates beautiful dolls. First, I'd like to show you works by Galina Zakharova. She is a wonderful author and person. Her porcelain dolls enslaves at first sight by their tenderness. Now Galina creates wooden dolls, and she managed to do wonderful images even from that kind of material. These are fabulous signature dolls by Katya Manchavina, very tender. The white sylphid and the forest fairy, the elf of drizzle and Lucia. These are works by experts who were inspired by such an interesting topic as fairies' world. Now I'd like to invite you to my workshop Model Elf's Ears. I'll show you how to model ears for your doll quick and easy. Also, I'll tell you main mistakes in ears modeling and how to avoid them. My doll is made from polymer clay living doll. I start to model ears when a head and the face have already been done. The first mistake by beginners who start to model a toy is they place ears too close to doll's face. Doll's head is in a square. Look, if we divide it in two parts, ears will be after the middle line. See? Make a line from one side and another side. The second mistake. Ears are placed too high. A tip of an ear is placed on the same line with upper lid, and its lower part is on the same line with tip of the nose. Actually, you can add a little star in a doll and make ears short, but not put them below the nose line. Draw lines from those sides, take some plastic, soft it in hands and divide it into two equal parts. Make it narrow from one side, like a drop. Push it from the other side, then model a pointed tip of an ear, so we get that form of an ear. Model the second one. Place ears according to these lines. Smooth it softly to the doll's face. Connect an ear with a head by a pin tuck. An edge of an ear is flapped. Mistake number 3. An ear is pressed to a head. Make a little strap from plastic. Stick it behind an ear. Polish it by a silicone brush. Model an above edge of an ear by a tool. Model a pointed ear edge. Cut a tragus by a tool. Then cut a little further. Make an acoustic metus. Remove all plastic from an acoustic metus. Polish it by a silicone brush or by other instrument. It is comfortable to use tools with round cups. From a hole, push a plastic a little. Form it till acoustic metus. Smooth it again with a silicone brush or by another tool. Correct the ear shape if it's necessary. Model the second ear symmetrically. Check the symmetry from different sides. From the chin side, for example. Let's check the symmetry from the forehead side. The character of a doll could be changed because of a tip of an ear. See, ears up, in front of and down, so a doll is different, with its own character and image. Now I'd like to offer you my video tutorial Flower Fairy Art Doll. I'll disclose all secrets of creating a polymer clay art doll. This is a first full step-by-step video tutorial where I explain you each stage of this doll creation. It will suit to the beginners who has never modeled a drone, and believe me, it is not as difficult as you're supposed to, but of course you need to do your best. This tutorial will be interesting even to someone who has already an experience in dolls creation and who'd like to learn my techniques of dolls making. Maybe earlier you created dolls from polymer clay resin. Now you can try to create dolls from baking polymer clay. A tutorial consists of 12 video lessons. Its duration is 3 hours. During the first introductory lesson, I'll tell you about tools and materials we need to create a doll. We will model a doll from baking polymer clay. I prefer a living doll, but you can take another clay, for example, Cernit, Fimo, Prosculpt. Baking polymer clay has a lot of advantages. Its surface is more alive, like a skin, pleasant to touch. It is a pleasure to model a plastic like this. Further, it doesn't require a thick layer of paint. You can tone it a little bit. You can already use acrylic paints, oil paints, even watercolors and pastel. As for me, a painting is the most pleasant part of the whole process. We bake these clays in oven. I use a conventional oven for that, and you can bake in the ordinary oven. It should have a temperature control, because a baking should be performed according to the temperature indicated in the instruction. Don't open an oven's door immediately. It is better to leave all details to get cold in it. After baking a polymer clay, wash an oven to use it as intended without any fear. What else will we do? We make a sketch for a doll. It's going to be a technical sketch. Skills of drawing don't required. An important stage before modeling: making a correct marking to model a sweet and childish face. I'll tell you how to achieve these results. Step by step, we model a head for our doll. I'll share with you easy tricks of modeling, which will follow you to a good result. Also, I'll tell you about main mistakes in modeling and how to avoid them. There will be a small block in this tutorial. You can have a kind of self-control watching it. So you can look at your job critically and check yourself whether you've done everything right, and if there are some mistakes, how to correct them. I'll show you how easy to make a wire skeleton for a doll and how to make its position stable. We'll make a pose static, and I will show you how to model a neck and shoulders. You'll learn to model a child like hands, arms and legs. You will learn how to prepare all details, a head, arms, legs, to baking, and how to perform baking process. I'll show you some secrets of toning. You'll learn how to make a doll's glance alive. I've told you already, I like this stage of coloring because a doll is figuratively comes to life. You are going to learn how to stick locks and to make a hairdo for the doll carefully. Apart from the fact that you will create a doll, we'll make a costume as well. For example, you'll learn how to create flat shoes. Also, you'll make an outfit for a doll easily. We will make an underwear, bloomers, a skirt, a dress. I'll show you how to make a pattern and sew a fixed dress. There are lots of ways to create wings for a fairy. I'll show you how to create them from a piece of fabric. I invite you to buy my course. It will be downloaded onto your computer. You can make a doll anytime you want, any place you want. A video is of a good quality. It was filmed from the close distance. You'll get the impression you work with me during an offline workshop. All small details are seen perfectly on the screen. So, if you want to create a signature doll with me, welcome. I invite you into the world of fairies. Traditionally, during our festival, I make a discount. In 3 days only, its price will be 79.50 euros or 89.50 US dollars. There is an English version on that tutorial, an English sound and subtitles. Thanks a lot for being with me today, for your activity. It was a pleasure for me to see your interest to that topic. I wish you a good luck. I wish you good luck to everyone who decides to create dolls and teddy bears. Let it be a joy for you. Have a good day, have a good evening, goodbye. Give a storm of applause to Tatyana Simukova. She gave a wonderful and structured information. Now, let me tell you about payments. Here is a window of broadcast, so you can see this gorgeous doll. Press Buy Now. You are on a page of a tutorial. Here is a description of all lessons step by step in English. Below you will see a price. Press Buy Now and here is a page of payments. You can choose either PayPal or input your card's data. After you'll get a payment, you immediately receive a link to download that course onto your computer. So, tomorrow we'll have an interesting guest. Elena Golofaeva will give her speech. She makes teddy bears and she has a huge experience. She has kind of fantasy box. So, thanks a lot for being with us today. Thank you for your attention. Have a good evening, have a good night. Goodbye, see you tomorrow.